Hey, good afternoon. It's Tuesday, November the 14th. This is Mary Lou Foster. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Independent, that didn't come out very nicely, in Northeast Texas, Sulphur Springs, Texas. And I'm coming on today to show you the 3 cards that are in my next card class to go. It's called Night Divine, and it features the Oh Holy Night suite of products on pages 14 through 17 in the mini catalog. So I'll show you the paper and the products for sure. The paper, that's the kind of the star, so to speak, of this card class. You can have this card class delivered to your home for $25 plus the cost of mailing, probably in the neighborhood of $5. You'll get half a package of the Designer Series paper and 6 cards, 3 designs, 2 of each. I'll do most of the cutting and prepping. I'm not going to cut your Designer Series paper for you. You will get PDF instructions. Waiting for this to go live so I can monitor it on a device. And I think I'm on the wrong. I am. Let me go over to the other profile. Aha! Oop! I saw it go by. There it is, right there. Make sure it's not. It's right there. There you go. Okay. Just checking the volume. You can see the cards well, and the light looks good. It was kind of dark on my laptop, so I've been kind of messing with it, trying to get it fixed so that it's bright enough. If you are watching, I would appreciate it if you would comment that you're watching. I get notifications as you come on, but sometimes they disappear. So if I don't acknowledge you, I'm not ignoring you. I just don't know you're here. So as I was saying, the paper is kind of the star of the show. Let's see here. Yeah, it's not. It's called Oh Holy Night, and you'll get half a package of it. Lots of stars, because you know that song Oh Holy Night is the stars are brightly shining. It's my favorite song that my daughter sings, and I should probably play it for you. It's absolutely stunning, gorgeous. She has a coloratura soprano voice, so the high notes are her favorites. They just kind of come out of her mouth. She opens it and out comes this gorgeous sound. The backs of the paper are a little unexpected, but they could be used even after Christmas. Nobody has to know that it's stars shining brightly on the front side. There is a sheet that looks like just the desert. We're going to use some of that. That kind of reminds you of the Middle East. Earth and Elegance is one of the stamp sets in the catalog. So as you can see, lots of blues. I think every shade of blue that Stampin' Up offers. And in the back, copper clay. And I'm going to use a little bit of the Shining Brightly specialty Designer Series paper. This paper is only one-sided because it has foil, and we'll use this pretty piece right here. So they complement each other. There are 2 stamp bundles that are part of this whole suite of products. We are going to use the Night Divine bundle, which has the gorgeous sayings. The Lord is my shepherd, glory to God in the highest, O holy night. He shall be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. So this will probably stay in my set, in my collection. And the dies, you can create your stable scene with these dies. And that's kind of what we're going to do. We're going to use bits and pieces in different ways. Now, the star on this card is from the, let me get that catalog over here. It's from the other stamp bundle called Stars at Night. And it's a hybrid embossing folder. So let me show you what that means. You can use it as an embossing folder, and it will put this lovely star embossed on your paper. But it also has a die, and the way they have designed this, that die will fit. It just kind of snuggles up and centers those stars. Excuse me. And to punch just this star out, I put just a piece of gold right here. I didn't need an entire sheet that I was just going to end up having to throw away or figure out how to use. But you can cut the smaller pieces to highlight which stars that you want to use. So let's get started to get these cards made. I've kind of tried to simplify my process a little bit here. When you get yours, you'll have to do your stamping. I am not allowed per policy to send stamped images. I think you've heard that probably every time I've done a class. I'm still looking on my phone for this video. My phone is not cooperating today. So I'm going to start with this one in the middle. And all three cards are on dark backgrounds. These two are on Night of Navy. This one is on black. So they all three have liner cardstock so that you can stamp and write your sentiment on the inside. That's kind of just how this whole package of paper leans towards. You could put it on very vanilla or a lighter color, but I think it would lose its punch to do that. And all three cards are portrait, which means they're cut at 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4, and folded in half. So they're all just like a book fold card. Then I have the liner. I'm not going to take the time to stick that in. And what I have done for your designer series paper, you'll have the PDF instructions, but I went ahead and cut your piece. It was cut at 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. And then I kind of loosely divided that by 3 to get the 3 individual strips. And kind of the way it worked out, and it's very subtle, and once you know it, you see it. This one on the right is just a little bit wider than this one, and this one is just a little bit wider than this one. So it's sort of a progression of narrow to wider. And if I had planned it, it probably wouldn't have worked out that way. But since it did, then I was very careful to replicate it. And that meant that I was cutting like 1/16. And I know some of y'all just like go, I don't know how to cut that. So I just did it for you. You're welcome. You can pay me later. So it's 1 3/8, 7/16 maybe. It's not all the way to a half. I think it was 1 3/8. And this one, and I did write those. I wrote them down to make sure I remembered. This one is 1 1/4, which is just 1/8 of an inch smaller than the previous one. And this one is 1 1/8. So mounting them, then you have to be careful and try to, oh look, I put it on the back. Then I'm sitting here measuring it. It measured exactly what I told you, 1 3/8. So I'll put my little strip. And they're probably, you may want to pay a little bit of attention to where this got cut from, so that it sort of matches up with what the full sheet would have been. That way, and probably this way. Yes. So I'm going to start with this one on the right. And I know that I should have about an 1/8, is that an 1/8 of an inch of border? Because if you cut your piece 1/4 of an inch smaller, then you've got an 1/8 of an inch mat. Come on. So probably spacing on this one is one of your most important. And I'm going to kind of loosely lay this one. And now along here on the left that I need that. And I want it to be as level here on the bottom. And along the top. Someone was calling me. When I needed to talk to her, I couldn't get her. So, I will call back. Oh, whoa. That stuck to itself. And they're not exactly straight. I probably should have used a measure and did that one more carefully, but the phone was ringing. This one is going to say, "The Lord is my shepherd." I'm going to stamp it in Night of Navy. You will get the die cut label in your kit. I'm going to stamp it kind of more to the right, because if you notice along this edge, I trimmed that off straight. You could probably leave it, but I liked it just cut. So let me mark it. I want to leave a little bit of a border though, because my star needs a little home. Let's do this and that. And then I can eye it up. I'm going to use my longer scissors. That way I can cut it fairly straight. Or you can use your paper cutter. And this one is mounted on dimensionals, you know, adhesive dimensionals. So in the grand scheme of things, this is not a difficult card. It can be replicated. If you decide you want this brightly gleaming paper, you probably should go ahead and get that ordered, because that you'll get this piece for each of the two cards in your kit, but you won't have extras then to make more cards. I'm going to pop this gorgeous star, and like I told you, you don't have to use an entire piece of gold. You can isolate that star. There we go. And then the inside, you can decorate to your heart's content. You probably have sentiments. You may want to handwrite a message. The star trinkets, unfortunately, are no longer available. They were popular. They went kind of on back order, and then they put them on the no longer available list. But I will include in your kit enough to make your cards, the ones that have the stars. You will get those. Alright, so that's card one. Easy. I was going to mention that this gold paper is an online exclusive. So if you look in the catalog thinking, "Ooh, I need to get a package of gold paper," it's not there. It's an online exclusive. I believe I did note that on the PDF so that you would know how to order it with an ordering number. Remember, we have products that are in the catalogs. We have two catalogs, the annual catalog, the mini catalog. Then we have products that are online only, a whole bunch of them. Stamps, bundles, papers, embellishments, kits. So Stampin' Up! Is trying to offer options to a lot of people, because the younger people don't really like catalogs. They like to shop online. They don't mind having digital stuff. I think they miss a lot by not having a live, real catalog, but that's me. I'm older, you know. My birthday's coming up. I'll be even older. So the second card is on Night of Navy. And I have cut your piece of designer series paper. Take that back. I have not cut this piece of designer series paper. So you get to choose which one you want. If you want this one, if you want to cut the tops off of some of the pieces, because it was kind of hard deciding. That piece is mounted on a piece of basic white, which is cut at 4 by 5 1/4. This is cut at 3 3/4 by 5. So I'm going to go ahead and put these together. There was no ribbon used in the making of these cards. The trinkets, the paper, the die cuts, didn't need ribbon. There is ribbon. So it's going to have the same little border around it. Now let's talk about this piece right here. I had an inspiration card. I think I got this one on Pinterest, and I can look back and see whose card it was originally. And they had this heel cut, and I'm like, oh, I wonder how they did that. Well, I watched their video, and they used, excuse me, one of the dies from the Basic Borders dies. This one right here. Obviously, the other shapes aren't going to work. You could do this by hand. There's no reason why you couldn't take a pencil and lightly just make you a mound to make it look like a hill or a sand dune. But this added this detail, the little dotted line. And in person you can see that. And it makes, it adds depth and detail to the card. I'm trying to get it. There you go. When I dump it this way, I think you can see that dot, 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 dot line. So I cut the piece, and I think you're going to have to do this yourself. Their instructions are in there, 3 3/4. I think it was 3 3/4 square. And then I just kind of laid it on the card to see where I needed to place it to make it come to this corner. And then you could do it small, medium, big. I chose medium. This one I chose a little larger, and I felt like it was maybe a little too big, so I scaled it back on this one. I like it better. We'll see after I get my camel on there. Okay, so the camel is die cut. Where are my dies? And I have not cut him out already, out of Pebble Path, of all things. I think this is, it's not really a gray, it's not really a brown, but it's kind of one of my new favorite colors. So before I stick anything else down, I'm going to go ahead and cut out my camel. Excuse me, I think I'll just push this right over here and do it right up under your nose, because you're probably bored and need something else to look at. Out the other side. This is the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, but you're going to have the bigger machine to cut out the stable. It's a little bit too big for the platform. There's our camel. Put him back on the magnet sheet. So I think probably on the camel, the most important thing is to make sure that you punch out all the little extra bits, because that's what gives him his details. I'll go ahead and stick my brown sand dunes on. So you'll have choices about where to cut that out from. And along the bottom, along the side. He's on dimensionals. You can see it kind of makes a Can you see the shadow that it makes? Let's give him one right here. And see if I need to cut this one to hang. I don't like for my dimensionals to hang out from underneath what I've put it under. Wait, don't go to sleep. Okay. I don't have that cut down. So you can kind of choose where you're going to put him. I just assume the candle is a him. It's probably a she. I don't know. I guess we could give him a name. But these cards would be fairly easy to mass produce. So now we're going to get to do some heat embossing on a piece of vellum. It's a way, number one, of getting white. We have white craft ink, but I don't have much luck getting it dark enough. So, and I knew I wanted the vellum. I don't want a piece of just white cardstock right here. I wanted it to have that see-through look. What I did, I used the embossing buddy to rub over the vellum to take away the static on it. I did not mount this, glory to God. So let me take you off, put you on. We use Versamark. Remember, it's our watermark stamp pad. It's kind of a clear ink. It's a little sticky, kind of tacky. You can use it on just regular cardstock. It takes it longer to dry, and it will smear if you touch it before it is dry. So I've stamped on my vellum. I have the older tray that funnels my extra embossing powder back into the jar. Can you see? I'm having to work more towards the center of my table, and I forget sometimes. So, that looks really nice. Let me go ahead and put the lid on that. And I'm going to need my tweezers because this is a fairly small object that I'm going to be heating. And it will burn you. So let's see if we can see the magic happen. Oh, yep, it's happening. See how it starts melting and turning a shiny white? That's the magic. This is what sucks me in to Stampin' Up! And making cards. Heat embossing. The best. And you don't want to overcook it because it turns brown. And I'm a little bit crooked. But that's not a big deal. We'll kind of compensate whenever we mount it on. I'm going to wipe this off with just a baby wipe or a hand sanitizer. These do not have alcohol in them. And then I'll dry it off on my Stampin' Chamois. Because I'm going to have to take that block back. Oops. It's the thing about the wet wipes. Sometimes they're a little extra soapy or something. Okay. So now we are going to end up covering up those two stars. And I kind of noticed that when I cut them out. But it was the luck of the draw on the piece of paper. If you wanted to take the time, and I think I used a different piece. But you can kind of see through this. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to mount that. I'm going to use our tear and tape. And I'm going to do it underneath the words. because vellum, it's hard to use adhesive that doesn't show through. But the under the words like this, it kind of makes them, can you see how it's a little darker? It makes them show up a little better. Now you and I know it's the adhesive, but your recipient probably wouldn't have a clue. You could mount it on dimensionals, but the same thing, you would see those dimensionals. So, we're just going to pretend like that's exactly, and even though those stars are kind of hidden, they still show up, and in person you can really see it. We're going to put some of our stars on there. We can use, there are two sizes. These are bigger ones. You want to be sure if you're using a tool to pick these up that you get the little sticky dot that's underneath them. Sometimes we don't get that sticky dot, and then our adhesives don't stay on. Every now and then I'll find a random sequin that it got put on the card front, but it didn't stick to the card front, so it fell off. That's the camel card, and the inside you can decorate as you see fit. For this one I had the star paper that I thought, and I think what I might do is put it under the bottom and then put this piece on top of it. And I didn't stamp sentiments on the inside of any of these because I was trying to be considerate of your stamp sets and what you might have to put on the inside. Okay, hang on while I pick up my stuff. I just knocked it off. Clean this stamp off. Excuse me, don't want to make you dizzy. Now, let's do the Oh Holy Night. I think it's my favorite one because it has the nativity scene. I'll probably make a bunch of these for my Christmas card. I don't have my Christmas cards made yet. I've been busy making everybody else's. Let's get that in there. Let's go ahead and put Glory to God in highest back. Oh Holy Night. Goes in there. So, this one is on black. And I've got a bunch of extra pieces in this card that I was going to talk about. Move these out of the way. Put this guy over here. So we have our piece of black. It's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. It does have a liner and a piece to decorate the inside, your choice, because you're doing your own cutting. Remember, here's the trick on this one. I learned this from Rhonda Wade, because on the original piece of this paper, all these stars, and then you have these hills. And when you're cutting for card fronts, you're cutting at 4 by 5 1/4. So I've cut these at 4. And if you do the 5 1/4, you're going to have all of this ground and just a little bit of sky. Here's what she did. She cut 1.5 inches off the bottom and then cut her 5 1/4. And you're going, yeah, but then you got all blue with no brown. You know that 1.5 inch piece that you just cut off? You're going to adhere it to that piece that's all blue. So there's the 5 1/4 ready to be made into a card. And then, what is it? Here it is. This piece, you know what? I think I may do this, because that star was going to get covered up. And then you can decide, do you want your darker dirt? And I think I would. I think I'd want my darker to the bottom. That star is going to show. And then that way, because when you've got a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, you're cutting it into 3 strips 4 inches wide. and then you're cutting your 5 1/4. You can get 6 cards from one 12 by 12 sheet of paper. And especially if you cut that 1.5 inches off of here, cut your 5 1/4 for your first card front, you'll have a piece 5 1/4 left that you can stick that piece to, and you'll have 6 card fronts. And then it's just kind of up to you what direction you want that dirt. I'm calling it dirt because that's what it basically is going to end up being, as you can see here in the stable scene. So how cool is that? And this piece it's the one that's cut. I think for today's card, I'm going to use the piece that is not cut. So first, I am going to go ahead and stick this one on. And I can already see I'm probably going to lose that star. So there's some give and take. This one just ended up like kind of perfect with the star at the top of the manger scene. And if you didn't care, like, you're getting 6 by 12 inch paper. So you're not going to have the luxury of being able to do the 4-inch strips like I was talking about. And you can be a little pickier about choosing the particular piece that makes the seam the way you want it. Alright, so we've got, I went ahead and cut this out of basic gray with the dies. And I have not cut Mary and Joseph, the wise men. I think this is the whole conglomeration. I think it's the shepherds and wise men. In the Bible, they didn't all show up at the same time. But on our card, they're going to all be there at the same time. I think we'll be okay. You get the idea. Alright, run this through. I need music to play. Da, da, da. Oops. Stuck to the... Not much cleaning up, but once again you kind of want to punch out some of the little extra pieces that add the detail, mostly here on the manger. I'm not going to put that together just yet. I'm getting these pieces ready because our Oh Holy Night is stamped in Night of Navy. And you can do this one of two ways. You can already have your circle punched out with the 2 3/8 inch circle punch. And it's not going to fit exactly. There's going to be some of the stamp that gets cut off. Even if you stamp it and punch it, or just go for it like this and trust that. And if I missed, which I kind of did. Alright, so it kind of depends on your stamping style. Let's see if this one, yep, I believe this one will work. I'm going to make sure I've got it stamped in the middle though. Alright, so let's stamp it. And get this covered up. I tried a larger circle and there wasn't one that I liked. I mean, we have the deckled. I don't think I tried the deckled. So, your only other option is to just kind of choose the spot where the least amount you've got the words. I mean, your recipient's not going to know that there were tails on those letters that you die cut off. They're just going to see the words and they're going to recognize them because of the song. So we'll pick our spot where to put our stable now that we have our and it's kind of up to you if you want to put your circle on first or your people on first. I think I'm going to put this on first. And there are a couple of ways to do it. I'm going to use Contraband. I found this tape roller that is super narrow. You could use glue. Me and the green glue, what's it called? Tombow. Well, we are not friends. I would have glue everywhere. You could use tearing tape, but it's probably too wide. Alright. So I think what I'll do is just kind of eye this up and sort of put it in the middle of my card. Not try to mess with the star. And then I'm going to put my people. None of these are put on dimensionals. They are all glued to the front of the card. So that's a good thing. This could probably go on dimensionals, but look, there's lots of little tiny places. So you'd have to use the mini dimensionals. You know, M-I-N-I, mini. And just kind of find a spot in there. I'm not going to stick the heads down real hard yet because I think part of this, come on, star, I can get that shepherd's staff to cooperate. Little old bitty thing, and it's holding up the whole show here. See? And then the star's right here. So, even though I was kind of worried about how that was going to work out, that worked out pretty good. Pretty good. I'm going to put a lot of glue on this because I want to be able to get it where I want it. Do not stick down yet. No. Ah, stuck to my finger of all things. There's probably an easier way to do it. It was way easier whenever I did it the first time because people weren't watching. Oh, come on. It has stuck. Alright, stick there. Raise you guys up. Raise you guys up. Okay. Got it. Give it just a little bit sticky back there. And I think I'm going to give you a little bit sticky. You've escaped the sticky. So even though you don't have this really pretty star right here, I think it turned out great. It's got a star right there. It's the manger scene, reminiscent of the night that Jesus was born. So that's, you'll get 3 cards, 2 of each in your card kit. So you get to make 6 cards, half a package of the designer series paper. I will post the link to my blog. If you want this, you've got another week to get it ordered. Just text me, message me, comment, email me that you want this card kit, and I will get the supplies ordered. I think I'm going to be delivering it the week after Thanksgiving. Maybe the next week. Kind of depends. Right now, ordering is running well, but they're in the midst of a special, so that may slow things down just a little bit. So that's what I had for you today. I just wanted to show you these cards, how pretty they are, and offer you this card kit to go, class in the mail. I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.